San Diego, Jeff, you're on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Michael, I'd like to know if CNN or CNBC called and asked you to do the show, would you take the job?
You know, I would lie to you if I said I knew the answer. I don't know. I don't think so, because it's too difficult for me. And I'm not that ambitious in that regard at this phase of my life. And I also think I could have a bigger impact on radio and write books than I can on television. I don't know if that's exactly what would happen. It depends upon the situation, what kind of offer. I certainly would never do. I could tell you could write this one down. I would never do a daily television show, no matter what the amount of money was. If they said to me, I'll give you $30 million a year for a daily show, which they don't do, there's no numbers like that, I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. It wouldn't be worth the stress in my life, Jeff.
Okay, what if they said on the weekends?
I might do a once-a-week weekend show. I wouldn't do 2 days. I'd do 1 day only for an hour. You know, Jeff, I got to tell you something that I don't think I ever said on the radio. When I had that little MSNBC weekend show, do you know that 1 hour that I did on Saturdays took as much energy, almost as much energy and stress as 5 days of radio?
Yeah, well, I guess I can understand that, but...
And the reason was I was being undermined because the staff was always working against me behind the scenes. They undermined me. I mean, if I knew what I knew now when that happened, believe me, it would have ended a different way. I had a staff that constantly undermined me. They constantly undermined me, and I can spell out how they did it. I could show you DVDs of my television shows. The color was always wrong. And I fought with them day and night about the color. They couldn't even get the color right because they didn't want to. Everything was wrong. There was no editing except when they wanted to make me look bad. So I understand what television is. And the fact is that since you have very little control over the technicians, you see what I'm saying? It's a very difficult medium to get the truth across in. If they don't like what you're doing, they're going to do everything they can to subvert you.
I think they're looking for a spark, and sometimes you do opposite of what you normally would think they would do, and it would be an interesting play to get Michael Savage on.
Well, the thing is, though, is I don't do debates because I feel that there's two reasons I don't do debates. It's not that I'm afraid of them. I'm as fast as the fastest gun in the West, if not faster. The reason I don't do debates is that I've studied this medium called the media for a long time. In the early days of talk radio, the earlier days, the 90s, there was a thing that went on where you had left. You remember the days of television where you had a guy on the left and a guy on the right, and they would argue? It became bad television. Do you remember those days?
Well, I think it's because the moderator doesn't control the debate.
When you hear people screaming at each other, it's terrible television, and I used to turn it off. Those don't work. What I discovered is that people want a very strong opinion on one side or the other that's informed and passionate. They don't want both sides at once. It splits their head in half.
You can't hear anybody then, but you need a strong moderator to control each person because all you. Well,
all right, that's true. I like the monologue. I like the control that I have in radio because it allows me to. First of all, the timing in radio is different than anything else. If I get off on a particular flight of thought, I can run with it for minutes on end, and I have flexible times where I can break for ads. You follow me, Jeff?
Yeah. Well,
it's very, very hard to do that in television.
Control of your own show too.
Yeah, I have more control over this